Good morning, Daily Devotional. How are you today? So we're going to start with, we have 3 cards today. We have the Crested Crane marks the center from the Medicine Heart Oracle. We have Her Hand Gentles the War from the Kuan Yin deck. And we have Owl from the Spirit Animal book. So we're going to start with Medicine Heart. The Crested Crane. The center of the mandala is the place where all is possible. The center is the call to an evolutionary shift with steadiness and grace. The spiritual shift generates excitement, confusion, chaos, and creative freedom. This is a wildcard moment in the soul path where many new potentials and opportunities arise as if out of nowhere. It is the realm of magic, synchronicity, and unexpected. Things may seem to be falling apart, but in a more meaningful and true way, they are falling into place. The Crested Crane is the bird in the card. Right there. The Crested Crane belongs to the genus that includes 2 distinct forms of African crane. Unique to its genus, these cranes nest, sleep, and rest in trees, which makes them excellent at avoiding predators. The Crested Crane are teachers for evolutionary humanity, only recently acknowledged. Crested Crane reminds the soul of its capacity for evolution. Your spiritual transformation occurs through the culmination of subtle changes within that may not be noticed by others at first. You could recognize the difference in the person you are becoming and know that in time you will complete your transformation. Blue-eyed crested cranes is a subspecies of the African gray-crowned crane and is the national bird of Uganda, depicted in its flag. Through colonial rule and post-colonial independence, this regal bird has remained a symbol of the Ugandan soul. The oracle speaks of a true you that has survived the past and will survive all changes in your life, no matter how radical, continuing to thrive in the future. The real you will be expressed in many different situations and many different ways. You will find your way through all transitions, distilling even more of your real self into your embodiment through the process. Uganda is nestled in the heart of Eastern Central Africa, home to a diverse range of ethnic groups, over 40 living languages. Ugandan terrain expresses a rich range of ecosystems from volcanic swamps to forest, rivers, one of the largest freshwater lakes in the world, and stunning mountain ranges with snow-capped peaks hiding their glaciers within a veil of clouds. With soils considered to be amongst the most productive in the planet, diverse natural systems of Uganda are home to endangered species, straddling the challenges of deforestation and protection bestowed through numerous national parks. One way in which parts of Africa in particular have managed through religious syncretism, where indigenous traditions incorporate elements from Christianity and Islam. This is unconventional approach expressed exclusively, yet liberating a nonconformist spirit, where many voices are heard and honored and recognized as part of the whole. There is a willingness to embrace a mess of imperfect alignment between various viewpoints, finding common grounds. Let's see. She does a lot of work on the history, I think, in this. When you are ready, offer any prayers or intentions to the Mother Goddess tree. Offer your gratitude and prayers for her, for whatever feels true for you in the moment. Let these words become your offering. Isn't that beautiful? There's like 4 pages there. I'm not going to read it all, but that's the meaning of that card. Okay, so I forgot to get the Kuan Yin book out. Okay, so Kuan Yin is Her Hand Gentles the War. Her Hand Gentles the War. Master absolutely loves it when I do oracle cards. Let's see. Allow me to help you, for there are times when battle builds strength, but also times when it no longer serves a constructive purpose and war needs to end. For you, the battle within has served its purpose, and if it were to continue, you would be worn down needlessly. It can be easy to become so engaged in the struggle that you don't realize there is a way beyond it. I do, however, and I am moved to offer my merciful and compassionate intervention. Whether the war is in the heart, the mind, the body, or the world, call for my hand, and I shall bring guidance. Whilst tension can be important for part of growth, there are times when it can be easily, unnecessarily destructive, causing fatigue and killing off your sense of love, serenity, and trust. Although you may not be consciously recognize the war waged within, you will still feel its effect over time. It can be bone-deep weariness. You may experience difficulty in genuinely sustaining hope because you are so tired, feeling defeated rather than optimistic about being able to create the sort of life for yourself that you want. The Divine Mother's compassion seeks to protect us from suffering, and that is not in some way ultimately helpful to the growth of the well-being of the soul. You have the mental strength to let go of the conflict, to stop trying to shame yourself or another out of fear. You have the courage and respect life and the right each being has to choose their own way in the world. It is not about allowing disrespect. It is about setting boundaries within that bring you peace so you realize the action of others are not about you, but their own inner state of being. This frees you to choose what you wish to invite into the world and into your heart. Stop beating yourself up or allowing anyone else to bully you that way. It is not about fighting the fire with fire or trying to control anybody else. It's about building your spiritual connection from the inside to feel stronger and more peaceful from within. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I love that. Okay, so that was that card. And then our final card is the owl. And these cards have a symbol that you have to find the symbol. So it's in the air one. Okay, this is our card. Abundance, clairvoyant treasures. The owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is a companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. When the owl card appears, it's an omen and a boon and a treasure on the way, either in spiritual or material form. With the owl wisdom on your side, you will see and know exactly what to do with this boon, how it can further serve your dharma and bring abundance to the world. Trust that the wellspring of treasures is infinite. I love that. So, interestingly, when I was drawing these cards today, one of the things that I had in my head for today's theme would be community. And I woke up with that today. I woke up with that feeling that, because I had a dream last night, and the dream actually kind of jarred me awake. And the dream was very much, I was working somewhere, and I was teaching, and I was in a school, and I was watching kids go up and down the hallway, and it was a school I'd never been in before, so it's not like it was a remembering dream of something in this life. And I haven't taught in high school in a really long time. And so, and I haven't worked with teens since, we're working on 10 years now. I haven't worked with teenagers specifically in a very specific setting. So it was very interesting in the dream that I'm having. I am in a school system of some kind, and there's, instead of, if you walk down a high school hallway, there's these glass windows in every window so you can kind of peek into the classroom. Well, they don't have those. In the glass, there's a touch screen, and you can look at the students that are in the class. You can look at demographics. You can only get in there if you're a teacher, and there's a thumbprint. So you do a thumbprint, and then it brings up like who are the students in the class. And if you want to pull a student out of the class, you click on their name, and it sends a ping to their desk. And so it doesn't disrupt the rest of the class. It just sends the ping to the student. It's a very interesting science-y thing that my brain came up with in my dream. I think my brain came up with it, but it felt very real. And in the dream, it was like the day before classes were gonna start, and I was in my classroom, and I had I had done something where I plugged something in. And when I plugged that thing in, the electricity flickered in my classroom, and there were people walking around. They were trying to figure out what happened. And I was like, I did it. I plugged something in, and the electricity went out. And the whole time I'm in this classroom, there's this whole feeling that I'm watching something that could eventually happen, but hasn't happened yet. It's a potentiality. And in the dream, it's the next day, and somebody comes into my classroom and they're like, here's this letter, and I'll watch your kids today. We're gonna send you home. And there was no real clarity in the dream as to why they were sending me home and kind of what had happened, but in the dream there was a feeling that something had happened to my biological kids in the dream. Only my biological kids in the dream weren't my actual sons from this life. So it was a very jarring moment, like I was remembering a future memory maybe, and then I woke up. And when I woke up, one of the first things that came to my mind was, oh, it's about waking up. It's about waking up. It's about waking up to possibilities of futures. And I knew intuitively from that dream that it had to do with community and waking up the community and pulling people together in a safe space. And I have a teacher theme, life theme. One of my life themes is teacher. So there is a layer in that I've been kind of chewing on for about an hour or so that I've been awake. And so when I pulled these cards, I got the crane, the crested crane marks the center. I got her hand gentles the war, and I got owl. And what I got out of that, as I was reading earlier, and those are the pieces that I wanted to read to you, was that transformation, right? We'll go back to crested crane. The crested crane teaches how to seek spiritual shelter as a form of protection, knowing how and where to rest and let go, rise above situations energetically, which helps detangle your energy field from that which would not be healthy for you. So learning how to rest and detangle from things that aren't transformational, that don't support the transformational journey. And then the her hand gentles the war, knowing when to not fight something. Don't push, right? And then the owl, that abundance is coming. There is this abundance. There is this knowingness that it's all going to be okay. And between the dream and the cards, it was very much this knowingness that my understanding of how community grows, I have to do my thing and allow the energy to just move around me. And I get very excited sometimes, and in my excitement sometimes I push a little bit, and I have to remember not to do that. And that's a lesson for me, and that's a lesson for allowing community to grow organically in its own time. And I think that what happens is I get very excited, and when I get very excited, I energetically push, and that's that's just the human thing, right? But then you add that in, that I have this catalyst energy that moves with me all of the time as one of my life themes. And if you take teacher and catalyst together, and you use the word community, or you use the word connection to a group of people, that puts pressure on people around me. And I've known that it does that. I've known. But in that knowingness means that I have to allow the energy to just flow, and I can't be pushy. And it's a learning thing. I have to be reminded of this all the time. So in sum, kind of what came out of this for me is allowing me to be aware right now that I can't push at all. I have to just allow. And that may mean that I have to step back a little bit in not being involved. That's not what I mean, stepping back and not being involved. I'm very involved. I'm always invested. I'm always involved. I can't not care. But what I can do is support other people as they're figuring out what those connections are, share my experiences, share as I build. And as I build and as I share and change things, I can encourage others and support others in their journey. And you know, this is something that I'm reminded of all of the time, because I care. I can't not care, because I am a catalyst and things change around me, and I care how people, I care not necessarily what people think of me. That's never at the core of it. What the care is that they're okay in their journey, and that I can let go, and they can let go if they need to, and it's okay. And that transformation does require sometimes a little bit of quiet time, and it requires maybe not always having a lot of things going on at one time. Astra has been up and she loves when I do daily devotions. She loves it, right? You love it. So I hope you all have a beautiful day. And my lesson to share with you is community is extraordinarily important, and we need each other. But I also recognize that sometimes that's scary, and it's scary as a community person to trust each other, and learning to trust takes time. And I had a conversation yesterday with somebody where the conversation of trust came up. She says, people don't understand. I see who they are. I trust them. And I went, I know, right? You know exactly where you can trust them because you know who they are. But not everybody else sees that. And we all have a little bit of trauma that we're carrying, right? And we have to work through that as we learn to trust and grow as a community. So I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you in prayer. Blessed be.